Yeah, we're out here in Matthews at the Katz Park and Ride lot at Independence Point. Got my pass here. The bus is here, but looks like nobody else is parking and riding the bus today.
Please take transfer.
You need a local transfer?
Yes.
Okay.
Get up in the morning, get on the bus.
It's Charlotte morning rush hour here on Independence Boulevard.
Get up in the morning like the rest of us.
But no rush to find a seat on the Independence Express bus, just the driver and me, on a route with ridership only 4% of what it used to be.
Bus rider.
And so what has happened is ridership has dropped significantly. In the first 3 months, we dropped almost 80%.
Charlotte Area Transit CEO John Lewis says those are the ridership numbers system-wide. And fewer transit riders mean fewer transit dollars, too.
When you lose roughly 80% of your riders, you lose roughly 80% of your revenue.
Lewis adds the ridership and revenue losses due to COVID are worst on routes and commutes between the suburbs and Center City.
Express service, as an example, we cut back 95%.
Bus rider.
Because there weren't those people who were living in the suburbs, working in the uptown area. They were still working, but working from at home or in a virtual environment.
How about light rail? How is it doing during the pandemic?
You know, light rail continues to operate. We've still had reduced levels of ridership. Because of the nature of light rail, we were mostly serving commuter riders, and those, just like our suburban service, have gone away because of change in work habits.
Yeah, at just before 5 on a Friday at the Transit Center light rail station.
Face masks are required on board all CAT services.
We only count a dozen or so passengers waiting on the platform. On board the train, social distancing leaves most of the seats unavailable. Many of the seats that are available are mostly empty. And those who are on board light rail during this rush hour don't seem in much of a rush at all. A few families riding for the fun of it, but again, not many white-collar commuters boarding the train because with COVID, there aren't as many white-collar jobs to commute to or from.
Still have a core about 20 to 30% ridership that we continue to serve, but again at a reduced level of service. So rather than every 10 minutes, we're having service every 15 to 20 minutes.
So with fewer trains and buses serving fewer passengers, who's still riding Charlotte Transit anyway? Well, what we're seeing here on board, passing car dealers selling cars they can't afford, are a lot of blue-collar riders stopping at the shopping centers to pick up food for the family. And taking the bus from home to work when working from home isn't an option. What's the alternative if you don't take the bus?
Get a bike. Get a bike.
We're talking with Bobby at a bus stop on Central Avenue, the number 9 bus, where Katz is actually adding service because ridership on this route is rising, COVID or no COVID. What are the buses like when you do ride them?
Well, sometimes the buses be already full. Some of the seats is like whatever they said due to social distance do not use. So sometimes you have to stand up. So a lot of times if I ain't got that far to go, I just go like maybe about 2 or 3 blocks or something I can walk. Because everybody don't wear masks. Everybody don't wear masks.
Well, I have heard drivers tell people that they could not ride the city bus without the mask.
Pamela takes the number 9 bus to get to and from her doctor's appointments, or sometimes just to get out of the house, because when you're handicapped, in a wheelchair like she is...
Yeah, well, I have no choice. Ride the bus, so I take special transportation.
Does it feel healthy on the bus?
No, it did not.
Not even with those glass plastic windows?
No, it does not, because the germ is the germ.
Katz is fighting those COVID germs with these plexiglass shields between seats and blocking side-by-side seats so there's nobody sitting right next to you. They're also removing seats from buses to create even more social distancing space, even when those buses are full.
And so we're adjusting to the latest information we get from the health experts about how many people can safely be on a vehicle. We've reduced that to no more than 20 people on a vehicle.
Bus rider.
We're also watching at the transit center, where CAT's cleaning crews board buses before the passengers do, spraying and wiping down every bus at the end of every route, especially those still busy blue-collar routes, where cleaner buses and more buses mean those who need a ride during COVID can still get a ride.
What our customers want and what we found is they want reliability. They don't care if it comes at 11 after, at 21 after, whatever. Just give me reliability. Tell me one's going to come every 10 minutes.
Now, one thing CATS isn't talking about right now is a plan by Duke Energy to convert the entire fleet of CATS buses from the diesels and the hybrid diesels to all electric buses. Nothing's official yet, it's just a plan. But if it works out, then Duke would pay the cost of converting the buses and CATS would pay for the electricity to run the buses going forward. Now, if it works out, it could put electric buses on the streets of Charlotte 10 years earlier than they might otherwise get there. And it could save CATS millions of dollars, which might help offset some of the losses that CATS is suffering now because of COVID.
We hope you enjoyed the story. If you don't want to miss any more great stories about the Charlotte region, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.